Hello and happy Tuesday. Welcome to
Hi,
Smart Impressions. I'm
how are
Rachel
you?
and I am unlocking. How you doing? Morgan's here in the room.
Good,
How you doing?
good, thank you.
We're so glad to have you. Well, we're unlocking business relationships one connection at a time. And I want to do an intro because if you know anything about Google, I think everyone on the planet does. And if you are even advertising on Google, which is probably 90% of people listening right now, then we have a very special guest. He's the founder of no other than Cloudstons, which is basically all about digital advertising for lead generation. And they have just been announced. They're top 3% of the UAE, Google Premier Partners in the UAE. So welcome to the show, Morgan. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's
How are
great to
you?
have you here.
Good,
Yeah,
thanks.
I love we're playing in the same lead generation space, helping businesses drive human connections. And we're like the people, I feel like we're like the fishermen. We're going fishing for those leads. You're doing
Exactly.
it digitally and you're killing it and you're doing such a great job. So I applaud you. And I want to really take the opportunity to find out a little bit more of where people are going wrong. Are they really excelling and doing it effectively?
Exactly, yeah. Perfect.
There's no doubt Google's making a fortune on this digital ad space, and this is your
It's
playing
unreal.
field, right?
Exactly. Unbelievable. And every single month we just see, cost per clicks and budgets going up and up and up and up. It's just unbelievable to see what goes in on a daily basis. Just our clients, never mind the whole world, right? It's unbelievable.
Well, that's the way to spend, right? And there's no doubt you need to be spending digitally, and there's a lot of complexities to it I'm sure there's like budgets that you're seeing budgets even increase, right? So people are
Exactly.
spending a lot more to get conversions.
Yeah. We're even seeing, it also depends on the competition levels and the service or whatever someone's looking for. We see some cost per clicks are sitting at 50 fills. We've got some clients paying about 500 dirhams per click. It all depends on the urgency and how much someone's willing to spend for that click and for that lead. And again, that's why it's so important to do whatever you can to make sure that any click and any traffic that comes in turns into a lead, right? Especially when you're paying between up to 500 dirhams a click. If you lose that person or don't show the right message or the wrong page or something, there's a problem somewhere and you lose that, it can be quite a costly exercise.
No doubt. And I think that's probably the biggest pain point for marketing professionals in this region, or I think globally even, right? And I kind of want to talk to you a little bit more about your experience here because, you got the people giving you ads, you're spending, you're working and managing their ads to get those leads. And what is the biggest disconnect that you're finding?
So from my side, it's firstly clients are a bit nervous to spend, right? So they don't know what they're going to get out of it, and they start on X amount of budget, and we'll always recommend you start low until we start getting those leads coming in. The most important thing is, in the beginning, you can know exactly, you can do all your keyword research, right? You can put anything that you want to search and target, but you need to make sure that that landing page or your website is actually converting, right? Once it converts and those customers or those clients actually closing those into deals, into business, you can then slowly start scaling the campaigns up, right? And one of the biggest disconnects that we see is that you can have a really good budget, an amazing landing page or website, and leads are coming in at a good pace. And what happens is that people then receiving the leads, they don't kind of understand the difference between a lead coming in from Google versus a referral versus from social media and this type of thing, right? And they get a lead coming in and, they're busy, they'll get to it tomorrow, we'll get back to it later or something like this, and they don't understand that, if someone sends you a referral, it's easy. They want you, they need your business, they want your service. You can reply tomorrow, the next day, and they want you, they need your service. When something comes through on Google and someone's searching to solve a problem and they click on the ad, send you a lead, everyone just presumes, I've got this lead and I'll deal with it when I can. But they don't realize that that person has sent you a lead and they probably sent the same lead to 5 of your competitors at the same time. And if you don't respond to that lead, with fast and exactly what they want, how they want, and deal with it, you lose it. And we've had some examples of clients spending fortunes, leads coming in, really good quality leads coming in, and they're saying they haven't closed 1 in 3 months, nothing's happened, they haven't made one sale. And then we go deeper into it and meet with them and whoever's handling those leads, and then we find out, this lead that came in, yesterday, what's the reason? Why didn't it close? He's like, I haven't called them yet. I'm like, well, that's gone. Just forget about it and let's go to the next one. What happened to this one? If it didn't close, give a good reason and we can try and adapt and change that, right? Next one comes in, and the guy's like, oh, well, I tried to call him, but didn't answer his phone. What, did you call him back? Did you email him? What's up? No, I didn't do that yet. I mean, every single lead is an excuse or a problem or something. They don't understand that you need to be on it and treat it differently to a referral or to something coming to your social media, for example. And it's almost, I've explained it almost to a cold audience. Someone searching on Google, the reason they're searching is because they don't know anyone or don't know you, right? If they knew a renovation company, they'd go to them directly. If they're searching on Google for a renovation company in the area, they don't know anyone, right? So, and they also don't know you. So it's that you have to contact them and almost sell yourself and approach that lead a different way. If it's they never heard of you before, you have to. It's ready to handle that lead is a whole different ball game to handling a referral or a lead that's come from somewhere else. And this is where the biggest issue that we find or we see from our side. And as soon as clients realize that and they change the way that they handle those cold leads, it's chalk and cheese what comes in, right? And then they start booking in appointments and things come in and it scales from there. That's the biggest problem so far that we're seeing.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think a lot of business owners probably share that and they don't even realize what's happening, but it's that disconnect from the actual, first contact. That's why Smart Impressions is the name of the game. This we're here helping people. You have to respond immediately. It's super time sensitive, right? Exactly. And it's super competitive. And this is why the cost per clicks are going up. There's so many people in that space, especially in busy cities. If you're geo targeting, you got a lot of competitors just waiting for that business. And who's going to be the first one? Who's going to be that first one, right?
And also in the way you respond, not in how you handle it. It's also that, right? If you can, and then it's like, someone's got a low budget, but if you can show your quality and your value, and you can show that you identify their problem and you've got a solution to their problem, at the price that they're willing to pay, you'll get it, right? And it's just how you deal and handle it. I think it's the most important thing that we've seen. Yeah.
So, I'm sure you come across millions of different types of ads and stuff. So what are you seeing? And I know there's a lot of testing going on behind the scenes, but what are you seeing that are really giving great conversions when it comes to that, lead conversion? What kind of ads?
So from our side, it's, especially when we audit new accounts and new campaigns that are coming in, the biggest issue that people do is they just run one campaign, one ad group, throw a lot of keywords in, go to the main website and think it's going to work, The most important thing, I think really the most important from the beginning is finding, searches, identifying audience first, who they are, what they want, and where they are, right? And once you've got that point, you then target those areas and interest they're in. You find keywords then that always have intent. You won't just put, someone's looking for a dentist. You don't just put, the keyword dentist. And this is what people do. They just throw dentist and think it's going to work. You have to have keywords where they're looking to book an appointment for a dentist. They're looking for a dentist near me, or, to book a dentist or someone open now. You need to have keywords with intent. When you've got those keywords with intent and you're targeting, getting them at that point, you don't want to target someone who is searching and in informational range, right? Unless your strategy is to catch them and then to slowly for brand awareness and remarket and stuff later, right? But when it comes to lead gen, I think it's really good to focus, especially when you're limited on budget, focus them at that point where they're not just searching for what is the best coffee machine, but they're searching for to actually make that purchase to buy now or shop now. And focusing that area and high intent keywords with you putting the keywords in, so you know what service you're offering, you know what the problem they have. So identify and acknowledge their problem and show them how you're going to solve it, and it will come, right? And again, I think even more important than running a successful digital campaign is where these people land. So, right, they can click an ad, you can have amazing click-through rate, you can have, most people barely read, they search, click, you can put sometimes, mention anything there, they'll still click an ad, but when they land on the landing page or on the website, that's the most important thing. And most people will just send to their homepage and think it's good. And they've got these most amazing websites that are really, really amazing. But it just doesn't work for lead gen. It's too amazing. People are browsing around, looking and, drifting off and getting lost. You need to have highly, tailored lead gen landing pages, even at service level. So if someone's searching for something very specific, you show them an ad exactly about that, landing on a landing page, exactly what they were searching for, with how you're going to solve their problem, and an easy form to fill and submit an inquiry, right? And small things where, we've tested over more than 14 million dirhams in ad spend and testing different things versus buttons and open lead forms and that. And, having an open lead form on the top of your page doesn't look pretty, but it works. We've seen 30% increase in conversions by having an easy to fill open lead form on the top of the page. And I would never recommend that for someone's main website. It doesn't look good, right? It's not nice, but you only have those for the landing pages. That the only person that can access that page is they click on an ad, right? No one else will see that page. And when you're paying high cost per click and high budgets, you don't want people to browse around and look and read. You want them to fill out the form, and then you can contact them and make that interaction with them yourself, and then get them to send them to your website later, if you need to, but just get that contact detail. And that's the most, from our side, the important thing there.
Well, I know that you specialize in Google, but what do you think about some of the other platforms?
I think it's great. So what we found is we've got a few social media agencies that we kind of partner with, right? And we've seen, people come to Google first and start searching, and they're not always ready to make that purchase, right? So they're searching with intent. They're searching to, book a spray tan, for example. While they're searching, the baby cries, they go upstairs, sort out baby and fall asleep. Tomorrow morning they wake up, get back to work, and they carry on with the day. And now what we do is we kind of feed with the Google campaign, these people searching, browsing, coming to your website initially, all the right people, right? Because they're searching for your products and services. And then what we found works really well together with that is, besides remarketing on Google and YouTube, and that is a heavy remarketing campaign on social media to capture those people from there onwards. We've seen a lot of even e-commerce clients where we're running a search campaign with retargeting, dynamic marketing, getting good sales coming in. As soon as they activate a social media retargeting campaign, sales might drop a bit, but it heavily increases on the retargeting side. People might not be ready right now to buy, not ready right now to make that, interaction or send a lead form. It's not the right time, but on social media, you can then target them and follow them, the right person, and test different messages and show them different things. And then when they're ready, they submit there. So I find it being a really strong retargeting the initial people that are coming in from Google to then approach them on social afterwards.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think, I want to make sure anyone that's doing ads is making sure that they are really, what we've discussed is kind of closing that loop, right? So that you can do the retargeting, and that no matter where those customers go, once they go, you are watching them and you're able to follow them until that purchasing decision is there and time to fill that, right?
Exactly. And a good thing is also, you can even be smart about it. And the one example that I really love is that there's an all-in-one tap, right? For an example that we were pushing for here. And in the beginning, a couple of years ago, in the UK, or that side, people are used to drinking at the taps, so they're searching for these all-in-one taps and boiling taps, sparkling taps, this type of thing. And we ran a campaign here and just pushing a search campaign like they do in the UK, and it wasn't working as well. People aren't looking for a tap to drink, sparkling water out in the UAE here, or boiling water taps. Everyone drinks bottled water and, this type of thing. We then thought about out the box and thinking, what is their ideal customer? And their ideal customer was generally someone who's renovating a home or renovating the kitchen. So then what we did is we actually set up a search campaign with a high budget, knowing we weren't going to get conversions on any leads, but we set a campaign up targeting kitchen renovation. So people looking for kitchen renovation, home renovation specialists. When they were searching kitchen renovation, we'd say, oh, you're renovating your home, start with this tap kind of thing. And they would click an ad, land on this page about a tap, and be like, oh, this is not what I want, I'm looking for renovation, and they'd leave. But that's exactly what we wanted them to do, right? So we were spending, getting to click and leave and leave and leave. Once we built up a really big audience, we put a heavy remarketing YouTube campaign in place, which was then showing this tap, all the functions, all the benefits of it, and really heavily pushing retargeting on YouTube. A couple of weeks later, people come into the showroom. Now they didn't even know they needed this tap. Now they really want this tap. And they were coming in and wanting to see all about it and hear about it, right? And so you can also be very clever when it comes to this whole retargeting and how you do it, right? Just to think about out the box, not like the typical way of, oh, I'm looking for shoes and these shoes follow me, which is great, it works. But you can also do it quite clever and different angles that work quite well.
Incredible. I love that. There is, for everyone listening, we got a whole bunch of people doing different things professionally. I just say, from the sales guys, the timeline is so important. From the marketing people, make sure your loop is closed, and the retargeting is strategic. So I can't thank you enough for sharing some of your tools of what you've done in the past. And this should evoke some kind of imagination and creativity when doing your next digital campaign. Before we leave, because it's so short, this New York Minute, what do you have, Morgan? 3 tips that people should implement today, should they think about before they implement any digital campaigns in the future for lead gen? What do you got?
So for mine, I think the most important is to never just set a campaign up and run it to your home, to your website, right? I really, really, truly believe that how fast lead gen landing pages is the only way to go, right? Especially when things are so competitive, and when someone does a search, they don't just want to land on your website and search again and again and again and stuff, right? Have high built landing pages. We even use platforms like Unbounce and these stuff, landing page builders, right, that are built for speed. You need to show them exactly what they want, identify their problem, show them that you can solve the problem, strong call to actions with open lead forms on the top. There you'll get conversion rates of 15, 20%. If they've done their search, show them what they want, let them make a booking, right? So for me, the most important is really well thought of landing pages, with unique selling points, testimonials, open lead forms, strong call to actions, and fast. And the most important is to build it on mobile first and then go and make it all desktop pretty. Everyone does it the other way around, where traffic is mainly on mobiles. Make sure it's amazing on mobile, it's fast, and it's easy to submit that inquiry. The second thing I think is, like we mentioned now, is the remarketing. So many people are stopped at the traffic light and they're doing a quick search on their phone. They're not going to make a purchase there or send an inquiry there. They're just searching and browsing. So having a strong remarketing strategy around all platforms is super important, right? And not to overly do it and annoy them. You don't want to see these banners non-stop everywhere, but do it subtly, put limitations on, let them see 3 times per day. Really start small. You don't want to be too pushy on it either. And I can tell you now, most competitors are not doing retargeting. So if they're searching to buy meat online and they come to your butchery website and they leave and they've gone to a few others, because you always browse around on Google, for the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, all they're going to see is your butchery non-stop coming online. And then when they do search, they'll type your brand name in directly, We've seen, as soon as we activate really what you've got a good audience, set up a remarketing campaign, you see the brand searches heavily increase, right? So brand searches for that brand. People start looking specifically for that brand once they see the ads a lot. But again, clever remarketing as well. Don't just send company name and order now, book now. Be really clever with it. Catchy, use humor and funny videos, use catchy things, right? Don't just do the boring static stuff and send it across. So that's that. And the third thing I think is where everyone lacks is to continuously optimize campaigns and A/B test all the time, right? Use the data that comes in, see what's converting, what's not converting. And I'll go as far as to, when a lead comes in and it's a good lead, I'll go and find exactly what brought that good lead in and see how we can get more of those. If a bad lead comes in, go in and see how to stop getting those bad leads, right? You cannot get a job applicant coming in, for an example, and just leave it, and another one. You have to go in, find what brought it in and how to avoid it. Negative keywords, for example. You need to continuously optimize those campaigns, tweak and adjust them all the time. Clean up the campaigns, try test new things. Again, a small example by optimizing, we do things weekly on campaigns. You don't just let it run for a year and just forget about it, which most people do. You look into it, see what competition's doing. Are they spending more? Can you afford to fight to them, or do you hold the ground, right? Do you give an offer to try and fight them? You've got to continuously watch competition, what's converting, what's not, and adjust that. And one last example is, there's a client who's like a diabetes center, and we're having keywords for a diabetes center near me and diabetes clinic and this type of thing. And in the search terms, which Google now loves to show irrelevant search terms to burn budget, so you go in there all the time to clean it. And we started seeing a lot of pediatric diabetes searches coming in, a lot. And we approached them and said, listen, is this something that you guys do? Maybe we should start targeting this. And they say, we don't have a pediatric doctor and we don't do it. I said, well, the demand is there. I can see it's a big search coming in for it. So they went and hired a pediatrics doctor. We set up a campaign, landing page for that. And now it's about 30% of the revenue is based just on pediatrics.
Wow.
And that's optimizing and looking at what they're searching, how they're searching, and then change according to that, right? And use that data to adapt and change, by clearing the bad and by improving the good. If you're not optimizing all the time, or your agency's not optimizing all the time, your competitors are, and you're eventually going to fall behind. You have to be on it all the time. There's no way that you can just set the campaign up and let it run. So that's it from us. The 3 most important things.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot, Morgan. I can't thank you enough. Those are some great ones. It kind of blew my mind, the last one, because it's about being agile. If you're looking for other revenue streams, like, look at this. There's a whole, case study about how a business was able to drive huge revenue based on just search words, exactly, that were found. So this is incredible. And It seems so easy, but it's not. It's complicated. It's complex. You are an expert in what you're doing. I can't thank you enough for your time, for coming and sharing your expertise, and just blowing my mind on different ideas and ways that Google can be your best friend or your worst enemy. So get out there selling, do those lead gen, and do it effectively. Thank you so much, Morgan, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it. See you again soon.
Fantastic. See you guys next Tuesday. Have a great week and very successful. Follow up on those leads.